Wow, is it that time again already? Where have they gone? 4,000 EVs, where have they gone overnight? A good while ago I noticed that there was a lot of second-hand.
You tell a man, Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel.
Or used EVs changing hands very, very quickly within weeks. And a lot of them were 3 to 5 year olds. And at the time, it was reported that there was a huge increase in sales on 3 to 5 years old vehicles. And the activity was just wrong. You know, it just doesn't happen. People don't buy a vehicle and then swap it after 3 weeks. What made it worse is it's private to trade ads. So these vehicles, presumably people are buying them from the trade, keeping them 3 weeks and then selling them back to the trade. Now, why they wouldn't at least try them on Autotrader, I mean, I know that EVs aren't selling, don't get me wrong, but at least you would think they'd give it a try. If you don't try, you'll never know, will you? A few months ago, we had a report about used cars. Used cars, UK used cars grow 5.5% in 2024 with 7,643,108 units. Used EVs boast record, rising 57.4% to 188,382 units. This is from Dr. Andy Pandy. The numbers debunk the notion that there is no market for used EV. I kind of pointed out at the time that the 57% rise meant nothing, really. It's such an insignificant amount that it means absolutely nothing. They didn't even make up half the increase in used car sales, just half the increase, not 100% of the actual sales. And I've been keeping my eye on Autotrader, as you know. I check Autotrader every day. I don't think I see activity on there, and I know it's not right. Now, I don't know who's doing it, whether it's the manufacturers, the dealers. I did notice the other day that I went on one particular model and it was showing 5 cars in the total. There was a page full of them. So whether EVs are being underreported somehow, whether there's a glitch in the system, I don't know. But what really made me angry, so the headline from Autotrader is tumbling EV prices saw demand for EVs up 31% in May, says new data. So demand for EVs up 31%. Does that mean sales or does it mean views? I'm going to say it means sales. This has been reported all over the British, well, I don't think the British, I think the Chinese owned, to be honest. And it's been reported all over the UK motor trade press. So tumbling EV prices saw demand for EVs up 31% in May, says new data from Autotrader. So new data from Autotrader. So if I just show you how many electric vehicles were advertised on May the 16th. Well, no, we'll go earlier. We'll go May the 3rd. There was 34,984 cars for sale on May the 3rd. And then I flip forward. Go to May the 16th. 35,269. This story here is by Rebecca Chaplin on June the 2nd, 2025. Let's just move up a little bit. May the 30th, 2025. 34,082. Today, electric cars, and what day are we today? June the 4th, 30,269. 205. I'll tell you what it was yesterday, because when I noticed it, I tweeted it. It was at 30,068. So over 4,000 vehicles, 4,000 vehicles had gone off. So nearly 12% of the vehicles had gone off overnight. 4,000 EVs, where have they gone overnight? A friend of mine had a training company, and she wanted me to go and work for them. She said, I have a unique way of teaching people. And the thing that I do, or try and do, is not tell you something, but lead you along a path so you can see for yourself. Now, if you can see any different answers to that, any suggestions where 4,000 vehicles have gone overnight, just suddenly, if you think for some reason there was some chain of events that caused people to go out on May the 31st, was it a bank holiday? Could have been. All of a sudden, I mean, EVs have been tanking for months and months. All of a sudden, these tumbling EV prices saw demand for EVs up 31% in May, says new data. The same data and the same story showed that the top 10 cars that dropped in price in May 2025 versus May 2024 were all EVs. It also shows that there was not one EV in the top 10 used cars that increased in price. This data does not make sense of these market conditions in any way, shape or form. Do you think Autotrader will have access to different data than me? Where have those vehicles gone? They've been going up all year, and all of a sudden on May the 31st, 4,000 of them disappear. Don't believe a word you read or anything you hear about used EVs. I'll tell you why, and I've said it before in different videos. In order to sell new cars, no matter where you are, the manufacturers, if nobody's buying the used ones, then nobody will be buying the new ones. So they have to have a very successful used market. Car dealers, garages, you can't sell new ones if you're bottled up with used ones. And new ones you basically get on sale or return, so they don't really cost you anything. They just cost you a few pounds a day in stocking charges. Used ones, that's where your capital is, your capital outlay, and the majority of your money, because you're paying a fortune, paying an absolute fortune. And new cars don't go down every month, technically. In fact, they should go up. So the longer you have a new car, the more it should go up. Used cars go down every month. So not only are you paying interest on them, but it's a depreciating asset. These EVs, they are bombing. Absolutely bombing. So you can't afford to keep them in stock. Where have 4,000 gone? In order to get EVs selling, you have to get used EVs selling. In order to get used EVs selling, you have to create a market for them. If you haven't got a market, how do you create a market? People don't want them because they're not as convenient as petrol or diesel. They're not as cheap to run as petrol or diesel. So you have to create FOMO, fear of missing out. You must get an EV before they all go. Let's wait and see what the headlines are. But I'm telling you, there is something stinks about the UK motor trade press, the reporting, the advertising platforms. At best are being manipulated by the manufacturers and the big dealers. Unless, of course, a big dealer's gone out of business overnight and or not paid their Autotrader bill and they've taken them all off. That's the only logical explanation. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.